All right, guys. Hey, listen, welcome to the Scent Bubble. We are on vacation right now at an Airbnb, so I thought I would shoot some quick content for you guys since you guys know me for my reviews and everything, but as the reviews start to get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, if I ever get through my collection, I'd like to start getting to some more interesting content for you guys, like conceptual stuff. Everybody talks about what they like, what they don't like, what gets a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, what's trash, what's a good clone, what's a close of this. And we don't really talk about fragrance in a way that really reveals how we wear fragrance in the real world. I want to give you guys a great case in point. At my journey currently, I am almost exclusively buying niche. That's not a forever thing, I promise you. Trust me. But I'm in a place in my journey right now where I've got my eye on a lot of really cool independent and mass appeal retail niche houses. And that's just where I'm at. My nose is wandering over in that side of things. It's not my first time over there, but I wanted to isolate it and focus on a couple of houses. I'm really into discovery sets over into singular decants. There was once upon a time where I was looking at a couple of houses, seeing which fragrances other people said were the best and trying those decants. If it was Mancera, I was trying Cedrop Rosé and Instant Crush and all that stuff. If it was Tom Ford, I was trying Tobacco Vanille and Oud Wood and Noir Extreme, blah, blah, blah. And I'm still into that stuff. I'm doing a video, Miles, so you can hang out or whatever, just give me a second. But all that out the window, I just want to share with you guys like a really practical scenario for me with fragrance, and hopefully you guys can relate. I am on a trip right now. I don't want to bring a lot of bottles. Preferably, I'd like to bring a decant. Hey, can you turn that down?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Preferably, I would like to bring a decant, but I didn't have enough time to decant. And so I needed something fairly travel size, extremely versatile, dumb reach. But I still wanted to smell expensive, right? What did I bring? Versace Eros EDT as a 50 ml. This is among one of the most versatile, mass appealing, high compliment factor fragrances on the market for designer. This used to retail somewhere between $80 and $120 when it first came out, maybe even more actually, but I think north of $100 by a little bit. But today you have your Versace Eros EDT, EDP, and Parfum. Now, a lot of what some people will do is they'll look at a fragrance like this and say, oh, well, what's the best one? Frag snobs will tell you the Parfum smells the best. Frag snobs will tell you the EDP performs the best. And so people might think, well, why the heck would you have the EDT? I'm going to give you a real easy rundown. For $35, you can get 100 ml of this. It is one of the most complimented fragrances in the designer category. When you type Versace Eros Versus and then any fragrance before you can even finish what you're going to put in as the competition fragrance, you'll see your YouTube suggestion page flood with various battles people have put with this fragrance right here in the streets versus everything from Sauvage Elixir up to niche quality fragrances down to clones. And it always wins. The compliment factor is high, and I'm going to tell you why. You guys always hear me talk about sweet fragrances and how a lot of people, when it comes to vanillas and different sweet accords, they lead too dominantly. A lot of vanilla or sweet fragrances lead with about 70%-ish of sweetness, and I think the perfect balance is, for instance, this is very vanillic. I think the perfect balance with a sweet fragrance, typically for me, I lean more masculine with my sweets. So I like my sweets to be dressed up with a forwardness of other than vanilla in this case. And I like my vanilla not to be super in the background, but just to be a supportive element. So the sweet spot for me with a fragrance that's sweet is like 40 to 60. 40, 50 is my sweet spot for vanillic in this case. And that's why I think this fragrance is so popular. It scratches the sweet itch of young people or just sweet lovers, but it is so dressed up in other florals, mint, I believe apple, and it's just very well balanced. I find in my fragrance journey with a lot of accords, things that I used to dislike, I only disliked them because of the proportion and the ratio that they contributed to the fragrance. So for instance, with gourmands, I found that I actually love gourmands in a very natural, airy way. And the way you make them feel airy and natural is with your ratios and the quality of your raw materials. So I think, again, this is probably more of a 50-60% sweet fragrance, but it's not blown out in sweetness. It's dressed up. It has a lot more character while still providing that sweetness, and it's extremely versatile. It's fresh. It can, and because of its ratio, you can actually scale it up to date night or semi-formal, all the way down to upscale casual or even playful. But the only reason I don't really call it playful is because it's a little bit more of a sophisticated scent than your typical freshies with charm. But this was the perfect fragrance to just blindly throw it in my bag. It's 50 ml, so it's a little bit smaller. As you guys can see, I'm not the biggest advocate of Eros for myself, but I've already blown through half of a bottle in just a few months. Utility fragrance lasts long. The EDT is only 35 bucks for 100 ml. Once you start going up to the EDP and Parfum, you're paying a lot of money for just a subtle nuance in scent profile. Yes, they do smell a little bit different as you move through them with a different combination of ingredients, slightly different ratio. Maybe some of the sweetness is scaled down a little bit more with the Parfum. Maybe the projection is louder with the EDP and the longevity. But surprisingly, this lasts 10 plus hours on my skin with less than 6 sprays. It's projective. It's got good 3-4 feet sillage. It's versatile. It's multi-occasion. I could wear it out of the shower. I can wear it on a date. I can wear it out to dinner. I can wear it when I'm out on the streets. You know, we were going around all these little towns today and shopping. And it's just a total utility fragrance that you still smell expensive. Some people might argue, well, yeah, a lot of people have smelled this. Well, 2/3 of the world doesn't even wear fragrance. So this will be a new experience for people interacting with this fragrance for most of the world. And then for people who are into fragrance, they might recognize it, but they won't recognize it as bad. It's timeless, it's ageless. And so I think a lot of times we overanalyze a fragrance to the point where we won't even buy it. And this is easily, to me, a top 5 staple designer fragrance in a collection. I might put Sauvage Elixir in there. I might put Bleu de Chanel in there. I might put Aqua de Joe in there. And then I might toss in some things like, you know, Gucci Guilty Elixir, Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé, stuff like that. But man, maybe a Prada fragrance, a Luna Rosa Ocean, or a Prada Black or something. But yeah, this is just an awesome fragrance. I'm interested to know your guys' opinions on this. Who carries Versace Eros? And are you such a snob that you value the nuance and scent profile over the price? Because I mean, 35 bucks for 100 ml is just a steal for this type of fragrance. I would probably own 5 bottles of this just because you'll blow through the bottle comfortably knowing it's not breaking the bank. Bottle presentation, if you care, very sexy. You know, they put a lot of work into it. And a good rule of thumb is if an eau de toilette has great performance, always go with the EDT because it's the first to come out. So it will be the most discounted version out of the eau de parfum, and then all that other nonsense, Elixir, Absolute, Straight, Extreme, all that nonsense. But yeah, so this was awesome. Took this on the trip, don't have to worry about switching up for occasion. It fits all occasions. It's soft on the nose. It's very projective, but it has an airiness due to that mint note. It's one of the more unique apple renderings that I've seen in the designer category. And I mean, this is just a timeless classic fragrance that never smells old. I got plenty of compliments and head turns with this fragrance, and it's just awesome. Let me know what your guys' travel fragrance is, something you can just dumb grab. You don't need a bunch of decants. If you could take one fragrance with you on a trip, what would it be? And then also give me your feedback on Eros. Do you guys agree? And again, I always advocate that Eros is easily the best of the bunch in comparison to Eros Energy and Flame. Those are more circumstantial, and those have way more character than this, a lot less finesse. And so they're a little less versatile. Even though they're good fragrances, I wouldn't consider those like a dumb grab for every day of the week during a vacation. But yeah, Eros, great fragrance. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. This is the Scent Bubble, and let me know if you like episodes like this where we just kind of spitball about different ideas. Again, I rarely recommend Eros unless I'm talking with younger people or people looking to build a collection like super affordably, but it doesn't mean I don't wear this fragrance. I wear it often in the right circumstance, such as this vacation. So with that being said, hope you guys have a blessed rest of your week, and until next time, peace.